Hey, Formula One fans, this is Rory. You're on the road with Paddock headquarters. So I have to drop a video addressing what happened yesterday, of course, with the Austrian Grand Prix. Now, you have your main event. The main event occurs and is completed. You have your award ceremony. And then what you know and I know afterwards, multiple changes, multiple penalties are assessed, which alters the final lineup of the race. Now, in my opinion, this was humiliating, and this was very embarrassing for Formula One, the FIA, and the stewards involved. Now, Formula One considers itself the pinnacle of motorsport, but you do not see this happen in other sports with the frequency that it happens in Formula One. Earlier this year, of course, you might remember the matter between Fernando Alonso and George Russell, where a podium was taken away. And to me, it just seems like what they accept regularly is just so completely unacceptable. You know, when you buy a ticket and you go to this event and you spend the weekend going to this event, you're paying a lot of money for these Formula One tickets. You go to be entertained, and the event is over. You go home, you have a meal, you're sitting on your couch, and 8 hours later, the event that you paid for, the lineup that you went to see, or that you even watched on television, changes. And if it happened once in a very rare long while, you know, it would be okay. But to me, the amount of changes that occur after the event has to be addressed. And it's not just the main Grand Prix, you know, with qualifying and the sprint races as well. You know, you have to get more done during the event itself. It's just, in my opinion, a very low bar that they have accepted with regularity. So, as you know, 12 additional penalties were assessed after the race, and some significant. I think Carlos Sainz dropped 2 positions. So even though the top 3 were not altered in this case, to me, you know, a couple position changes, you know this. At the end of the year, when you're talking about the Constructors' Championship or the Drivers' Championship, a couple of points or a couple positions could indicate, you know, millions of dollars. And it's not just the prize money that comes from Formula One and where these teams are finished, but you have sponsors involved, other interested parties. I'm not a gambler, but obviously there's a whole gambling aspect where the changes occur. And to me, it's just not how you run what you're considering to be the pinnacle of motorsport. It's just not acceptable. So they recognize there's an issue. They're talking about changing the track. But the biggest problem I think they had is they knew from Friday practice session 1 that this was an issue. And then we go through qualifying, we go through the sprint shootout, we go through the sprint race, and we go through the Grand Prix, knowing that track limits was an issue throughout the whole weekend. And, you know, some people saw it coming. And ultimately what happened afterwards, it was really an embarrassment for the stewards and the FIA. I don't know what the answer is. You know, if you're going to change that track, you change the track, right? But they knew it was an issue. I don't know if you need to pay more stewards. I mean, they have more cameras than God watching these things. You know, if you need to have additional stewards, however, you pay them more, train them more. I don't know what the answer is. If you have any comments or feedback, I'd love to hear it. But in my opinion, the tolerance for changes after the event has occurred, after your main event has occurred, millions of dollars spent to have this race. And I understand ultimately you want the fair result to be the fair result at the end. But you have got to get better. You just have to get better. I think it's an embarrassment for the sport. And hopefully this is a high watermark where Formula One makes some significant adjustments, the FIA, the stewards, moving forward, because you have to resolve these issues during the event itself. The majority of these issues have to be resolved during the actual sporting event itself. You can't have stuff changing 6, 8, 10 hours after your event. So that's my opinion. Let me know how you feel. If you have more grace towards what happened and the situation, I'd love to hear it. But if you're watching your team and all of a sudden your team drops a couple spots, to me, it's just not the way you're going to run what you're supposed to be calling the premier sport in motorsport. So thanks for watching. I drop a video every day. A lot to talk about this week before we head to Silverstone, the British Grand Prix. Make sure you follow, like, and subscribe. I drop a video every day. Thanks for watching.